Good morning, class 6th. This is a poem from your book Honeysuckle. Okay? This is your first poem, and the name of that poem is A House, a Home. What is the name of the poem? The name of the poem is A House, a Home. Okay? And the writer of this poem. Who is the writer of this poem? The writer of this poem is Lauren A.M. Lauren M. Halley. Okay? Lauren M. Halley. Okay? This is the first poem. Pay attention on the explanation. Okay? And at the end, we will have the vocabulary. You have to write down that vocabulary. Fine. I'll also give you an introduction about the poet of this poem. Fine. So let's move first to the introduction of the poet. Lauren M. Halley. Some introduction now about the poet Lauren M. Halley. Lauren M. Halley, M. Here M means Martha. Lauren Martha Halley is an American poet born on December 8, 1921 in St. Peter, Minnesota, USA. Okay? Laurel was born in USA on December 8, 1921. Her writing style is simple yet thought-provoking. Means whatever she writes, the poem whatever she writes is, you can say, are in a simple language where you can understand. But the meaning of that writing is different. You have to understand what is she trying to say in her poem. As the poem A House, a Home, when we will read, you will come to know what is she trying to say. Okay? Her writing style is simple yet thought-provoking. In this poem, she aims to make a clear distinction between a house and a home. Okay? Means in this poem, what is she trying to do? She is trying to say, she is trying to differentiate, you can say. She is trying to differentiate between the house and the home. What is the proper difference between that? Okay? Now further, if we talk about her studies, she was graduated from Washburn High School in 1938. She was graduated from Washburn High School and in the year 1938. Okay? With her husband Matt, her husband's name was Matt, she raised 3 children. She had 3 children. Okay? First is Eden, Prairie and Beaverton, or finally settling in Nakeville, where she lived for 44 years. A prolific lifelong writer, her largely inspirational work appeared often in national publication. Whatever she wrote, okay, most of her writings were published, or you can say were appeared in national publications. During 17 years with the Lakeville School District, she was editor of the district newsletters and worked in the Kennedy Elementary School library. Okay, so this is about the poem. A poet of this poem whatever the poet wrote, okay, it was, you can say, a simple writing but an inspirational writing. It used to inspire you, it used to tell the difference about the things. Okay, so let's now move to the poem. First we will read the poem, okay, which are given in 2 stanzas. In the first stanza it is given about the house, in the second stanza it is telling about the home. Okay, so first let's read the poem. Here is the poem. What is a house? It's brick and stone. What is a house? It is brick and stone and wood that's hard, some window glass and perhaps a yard. Here try to understand the words, okay, what is she trying to say? I hope only by the reading of the poem you will understand most of the things. Okay, so please understand, please read the poem with me. Okay, what is a house? It's brick and stone and wood that's hard, some window glass and perhaps a yard. It's eaves and chimneys and tile floors and stucco and roof and lots of doors. It's eaves and chimneys and tile floors and stucco and roof and lots of doors. Fine, let's read the poem once, the first stanza once more. What is a house? It's brick and stone and wood that's hard, some window glass and perhaps a yard. It's eaves and chimney and tile floors and stucco and roof and lots of doors. Okay, so this is our first stanza. Here you have to look for the pronunciation also, because I know there may be many words which may be new for you. Okay, so just pay attention on the word meanings, words also, and for the pronunciation. Now moving to the next stanza. In the first stanza we saw about the house. Now about the home. What is a home? It's loving and family. What is a home? It's loving and family and doing for others. It's brothers and sisters and doing for others. It's brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers. It's unselfish acts and kindly sharing and showing your loved ones you are always caring. I read again. What is a home? It's loving and family and doing for others. It's brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers. It's unselfish acts and kindly sharing and showing your loved ones you are always caring. Now we have read both the stanzas, right? What have you understood by reading the paragraph, the house? Okay, our house, or you can say, what is a house? What have you understood by that? What is it telling? It is clearly giving you the indication, right, that what is a house? It is a difference. Look at the lines of that stanza, what is it telling about? And when we read the stanza of what is a home, what is the difference showing in that? That what is a house made of and what makes a home, right? So now let's move to the explanation. What is a house? What is a house? Look here, I have shown you in the picture. What is a house? It is, you can say, a non-living thing made up of wood, cement, stones, bricks, tiles, right? This is a house. It's brick and stone and woods that hard. In these two lines, what is the poet trying to say? It's brick and stone. Now, let me explain you this way, that what is a house made of? A house is made of many things. Okay? When it is empty, you can say. It is made up of brick, stone, woods, right? Many other things. But till it is empty, it cannot be called a home. It's only, you can say, a structure of non-living things standing in front of you. Unless and until there is a loving family living in it, a house cannot become a home. So starting with the two lines, it's brick and stone and wood that's hard. Till it is made with these all non-living things, it's only a structure standing in front of you. You know that the hard things do not have any emotions. If you beat them, they don't cry. If you hurt them, they won't react. So, a house is only a structure of non-living things. Starting, it's saying that the house is built from brick and stone and sometimes with wood also. Moving to the next two lines, some window glass and perhaps a yard. Some window glass and perhaps a yard. Now a house needs a window, right? The houses have windows also, sometimes glass windows, sometimes wooden windows, sometimes many other metals are there nowadays where we can build these, right? A house has some window glass, okay, and perhaps a house also has a yard. Yard means a grassy area right outside your house, okay? The grassy area which you have outside your house is called a yard. It is often surrounded by a fence and marked by shrubs and other plants. Okay? What is a yard? A yard is an area, grassy area, right outside your house, and it is often surrounded by fence or marked with shrubs. Okay? So here in these two lines, again it has been said that the houses have window of glass, and perhaps every house, or you can say most of the houses, have the yards too. Okay, it's brick and stone and wood that's hard, some window glass, and perhaps a yard. Means house is having or is made by all these things, and they are hard with no emotions and no feelings. Moving to the next two lines, it's eaves and chimney and tile floors. It's eaves and chimney and tiled floors. Now what is eave? It is a new word for you, I think so, right? Eaves means the part of roof that hangs out over the walls to provide shade elevations of the roof. Okay, here I have shown you a picture. Have a look at that about the eaves. You'll come to know very easily what am I talking about. Here is the eaves, the picture which is given above. Okay, the shed where you can say, like when you come out of your house, home's gate, when you come out of your home and stand out of your home, and there is a shed up helping for elevation, right? Elevation of the roof. So that is called the eaves. Okay, and the chimney. What is the chimney? Chimney is the area, you can see, the place from where all the smoke of your house goes out. If you burn any bonfire, or you can say like whatever smoke is there in the kitchen also, or anywhere, it goes out from this chimney. Okay, so it's eaves and chimney, means a house has eaves also and house has chimney also. Okay, and tiled floors. Of course, there are tiles all over in the house. When you build a house, it has tiles all over. Whether it is in the kitchen, drawing room, anywhere. Okay, everywhere. So the house has tile floors. Okay, it has eave also, it has chimney also. Right? And stucco and roof and lots of door. Right? Now a house has a yard. Why does it has a yard? It has a yard for gardening. Okay, and now it's in the stanza, first stanza, in the last four lines, it's trying to say, and stucco and roof and lots of doors. Okay, what is stucco? Stucco means it is a fine paint used for wall surface. Okay, the fine paint which is being used for the wall surface is known as stucco. Okay, and chimney, I have told you, it is a smoke stake, a pipe which takes smoke or combustion gases from the fire. Okay, which takes off the smoke. So here it's telling now that the house also needs a roof and stucco. Okay, and of course lots of doors. Without a door, a house cannot have a perfect look. So a house has many doors that give a perfect look of a house. That gives a perfect look of a house. Okay, means telling all these things, the poet is only trying to explain that a house is completely made up of non-living things. or you can say it is completely a non-living thing unless and until there a family goes and stays. It is only a structure of non-living things. Explain you the first stanza, then we will move to the second stanza, what is a home. In the first stanza, the poet has explained about the house. In this stanza, the poet is explaining the ingredients and materials used to make a house. Yes, we have seen. Lauren is trying to say in this stanza, in the first stanza, that what is a house made of? What type of things are being used? Cement, stone, wood, right? Tiles, such kind of materials are being used to make a house. The poet says that bricks, stones and wood are used to make a house. They are hard. And here she is also trying to say that these things do not have any emotions, any feelings. Okay? And of course, they do not have any mutual understanding also. So, it is only a construction or simply a building. When a house is being made with all these ingredients, it's only a simple construction or a building standing before you without having any emotions, feelings or mutual understanding. Okay? She is also telling that it has window glass, corridors or open place in front of your house. Now this place in front or back of your house is been given for gardening. But gardening is only going to be done when people come and or family come and live in that. Tiles of the roof floor, fine paints, roof, elevation of the roof and many doors, such all things give a complete look, a perfect look you can say to the house. Now reading to all these lines means reading to the first stanza, we have only come to know that a house is completely a non-living thing made by all these ingredients. The house is only a non-living thing. Now how does a house become a home? Let's see in the next stanza. What is a home? When a house comes in the hands of a family, it becomes a home. When a house comes in a hand of a family, it becomes a home. Right? A house is a building for human habitation. Human habitation means where people can come and live in it. Okay? Now these houses can be of different types. The one which I have shown you in the picture is just an example. Okay? So a house can be of ground floor also. It can be of 1 or 2 story also. Okay? A house is a building in which people meet for particular activity, but it can only become a home when a family lives in it. So here that's why what is a home? I have shown you the picture that it is given in the hand of a family and then it becomes a home. Okay? Now let's start with the second stanza. It's loving and family doing for others. What is a home? It's loving and family. And here in this line, the poet is trying to explain that whereas a home is a beautiful family, a home becomes when a family lives in it. Until it is empty, it is just a house, or you can say a structure of non-living things. Right? A house becomes home when a family comes and live in it, and doing for others. Doing for others means where a family lives and helps each other. Okay? Where a family lives and does something for each other. Okay? Where a family comes, lives and does something for each other. So it's loving and family doing for others. This makes a house a home. This makes a house a home. Okay? Now who all are involved in this family? It's brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers. Okay? Now what does a family consist of? Who all are there in your family? The family are also of two types. One is neutral, other is joint. Right? What is a neutral family? Neutral family means where in a house, you can say, or in a home where only parents and their children live. Okay? That is a neutral family. And what is a joint family? A joint family is a place where, sorry, not a place. A joint family is a family where all of them are there. All of them means grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, uncle, aunt, siblings, cousins, everybody is there. Right? So what does a family consist? Here it's trying to say that a family has brothers, sisters, mothers and fathers. Right? So a home is a beautiful family, it's trying to say. A home is a beautiful family which is consisting of living beings. Home was totally of non-living things, where no human beings, no people, no family was there. But in a home, it is a beautiful family consisting of living beings like father, mother, brother, sister, right? These all human beings together become a family. And when this family comes to live into a house, it becomes a home. Okay? Means try to understand what is the poet trying to say. The poet is trying to say that a house is only a non-living thing. A house is only made up of non-living things. But when living beings like father, mother, grandfather, brother, sister, grandmother, everybody, brother, sister, come to live in it, it becomes a home. Now, how do people live in this home? Let's see. It's unselfish acts and kindly sharing. It's unselfish acts and kindly sharing. How do people, or you can say the living beings, live in this house? They live with unselfish acts. Unselfish acts means they don't, you can say, whatever the work they do, like your father earns for you, okay, does he expect anything from you? Because in does he expect anything from you in return? That if I am earning something, you have to pay me this much. Does he say that? Your mother cooks for you, or you can say the mothers do the household work of the house. Do they expect anything from you? That I am doing the whole day, I am doing the household work, you need to pay to me. No, no. It means whatever act is being done in the house, it's totally an unselfish act. It is totally an unselfish act. All these is being done in the house because of love and affection towards each other. Your father and mother, or you can say your parents, do the work for you because they love you. You are their children. Right? So, here the poet is trying to explain that whatever acts are being done in the house, they are the unselfish acts. Without any expectations, the parents do for you. Okay? Without any expectations, the parents do for you. They do something for you. Okay? Why? Because of their concern for each other. Because of their worry for each other. Okay? And kindly sharing means whatever is being cooked in the house, or whatever is being brought in the house, they are being shared in between the family members. Your mother cooks food. Does she cook the food for herself? No. She cooks for everyone. Okay? Now after cooking that food, does she eat alone? No. She sits with the family, or you can say all of the family members in the house sit together, and then they have the food. So this nature of sharing can only be seen in the family, or you can say can only be seen in a house, but not at can only be seen in a home, but not in a house. Right? The unselfish act about which I told you can only be seen in a home, where everybody works for each other without any selfishness. Right? It's unselfish acts and kindly sharing. All these can only be seen in a home. Now in the last two lines, showing your loved ones you are always caring. Showing your loved ones that you are always caring means when you care for someone, you have to express that. Right? Your father, mother loves you. They express their love by, you can say, completing their work towards you. Okay? Here you have to show your affection towards your parents also, as per you are their kids. Now how do you care for them? How do you care for them? You have to show that, how you are always caring. Okay? And these can only be done by living beings, not by the non-living things which is in a house. Bricks, stones, wood can never show their feelings or understanding or any emotions. Okay? It's only a hard thing, non-living thing, nothing more than that. Okay, so here in this all four, in the last stanza you can say, the poet is only trying to explain that a house becomes home when a family comes and lives in it. Okay, what is a family? A family is made up of father, mother, brother, sister. And when a family comes and lives in a house, their total work is, or you can say the total act is unselfish. They don't do any kind of their acts for any purpose, you can say, or with any expectations. Okay, they do all the work unselfishly. They show their love and care towards each other. Okay, now let me explain you this last stanza. In the last stanza, the poet has explained the nature of a home. Right? From the starting we have seen what is a home. Family. It's a loving and family doing for others. Okay? So the poet has explained the nature of a home and what makes a house a home. It is the family members that makes a house a home. And who are involved in this family members? They are the brothers, sisters, father, mother. When all together, when they come and live in a house, make a home. Their acts without any selfish interest, their concern to each other, their wish to work for each other's happiness and well-being. Means living in a house, whatever act they do it without any selfish interest. Means I gave you the example by explaining that your father earns for you, but does he expect anything from you? Does he keep any expectations? No, because that is his duty and he is doing that. Okay, that is his love towards you, his worry towards you. So that's why he is doing it. Your mother cooking food for you, preparing breakfast, sending you to school, looking after your studies, everything has been done by your mother when she is in the house. So why does she do that? Because she is concerned about you, right? Because she is worried about you. But does she expect anything from you by that? No. She does that, first thing, because it is her duty, and second, she does this act without any self-interest, without any expectations from your side. Okay? Showing your loved ones what you are always carrying. Means their wish to work for each other's happiness and well-being. Whatever your wishes are, your father fulfills, your mother fulfills. And these all acts can only be seen in a family, my dears. Okay, so if a house is to be made a home, a family should live in it. Their wish to show love and care towards each other is what makes a house a home. Okay? Their wish to show love and care towards each other is what makes a house a home. Means the love, the care which the family shows can only be seen in a home. and this all acts together makes a house a home. Now let's move to the vocabulary. With this, we have completed the poem. I hope you have understood now the difference between a house and a home. A house is a structure of non-living things, and a home is, and a house becomes home, you can say, becomes home when a family lives in it. Shows their affection, shows their love towards the family, then it becomes a home. Okay, let's see the word meanings. Word meanings. Our first word is yard. Y-A-R-D. Yard. Okay. What is a yard? A yard, you can say they are counted in two ways. Okay. If you count in a form of a measurement. Okay. If you count it in a form of a measurement, then it is a unit linear measure equal to 3 feet. Okay, a unit linear measure equal to 3 feet. Or when you call a yard in a house, then it is a garden or corridor outside the house. Okay, means yard has two meanings. The measuring unit, 1 yard equal to 36 feet, 3 feet, or you can say the yard is a place, or you can outside the house used for gardening. Okay, okay. Next, eaves. Eaves. Eaves means the part of the roof that hangs over the wall to provide shade, elevations of the roof. Okay, the area which is outside your house, where the roof is there, it works as a shade. Okay, next word is stucco. Okay, what is stucco? Stucco is a fine paint used for wall surface. The fine paint which we use for the wall surface is known as stucco. Next is chimneys. Chimneys means a smokestack, or you can say a pipe which takes the smoke or gases out of your house. Okay, the combustion gases or smoke that comes out from the fire, when it is there in your house, it is taken out by the chimneys. C-H-I-M-N-E-Y-S, chimneys. Smokestack, a pipe which takes smoke or combustion gases up from the fire. Next is unselfish. Unselfish means without any selfish interest. Okay, without having any selfish interest, it is called unselfish. It was there in the poem. It's unselfish act and kindly sharing. Okay, unselfish means without any self-interest or selfish interest, and selfless. Kindly means lovingly or considerate about something. Kindly means lovingly. So these were our word meanings for the poem A House or a Home. A house, a home. The poet of this poem is Lauren Martha Haley. She was born in USA on December 8, 1921. Her writing style of the poem was simple but yet thought provoking. Whatever she wrote, she only tried to, her aim was to make clear distinction between her poem, whatever she expressed. I have explained you the whole poem and explained you the difference between the house and the home. I hope you have understood very clearly, okay, with the word meanings. Please note down these word meanings in your notebook, okay. Soon I'll give you the worksheet for this. Fill that worksheet also. Till then, take care and study well. Hope to meet you all soon. Till then, bye.